Okay, so we are recording. All right, welcome everybody to week 2 of Wcboo U. Carrie will not be here tonight. She had some personal things going on, so she's taking care of those. You will meet her. Oh my God, not next weekend. Oh yeah, next week you probably will. And Scott had something to do as well. So you are with Rich, myself, and Carl tonight, which is still a good deal. We're just going to go, I'm going to start out with some questions. Okay. And I'm just going to read them to you, and then I'm going to pick you out, and then you're going to answer that question. So John Sheridan, this is for you. During a timeout, the game clock is the time remaining on the timeout. Is this correct? So we have a timeout. The clock is up there, and they put the time of the timeout. So it's time. The 1 minute is counting down. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. That should be a separate device for a timer device, and that probably is in rule where 2 is that the officials and their duties or something like that, timekeeper and their duties, something like that.
So, okay, John Morgan, that's great. That is correct. So when you have a timeout, there should be a separate timing device to time that timeout. So a stopwatch, you're not really supposed to use a phone. It says it in the book, no cell phone. However, they should have a stopwatch. And that is rule 118.1. So nothing should be up on that clock except the time remaining in the game and in that quarter. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
Amanda, you're the only one on video, so you can nod your head so that I think.
I'm the only one with.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, good. All right, Amanda, uniform question. Both teams are wearing the same color. What would you do?
Well, the home has to be white or light color, and the away has to be a darker contrasting.
Okay, great, perfect, good answer. And keep going.
I mean, what do you do if that's all they have, kind of thing, and no one can change uniforms?
Well, no, somebody's got to change uniforms. So what do you do? Who do you tell to change?
Well, if the away, I would say, the away has to change. I would think, depending on, like, if the uniforms were the light color or dark color. But I guess I would talk to, the head coach for the home team.
Yeah. Okay. So correct. If the away team comes and they only have their light jerseys, okay, you would ask the home team to change. They would have to consent to that. Okay. And that is in rule 122.4. So ask the home team. They usually will comply. They will change if they have to. Otherwise, the away team has to. But
what happens if they don't have their other uniforms there? Like the home team, maybe they just had an away game and they're being washed or something.
Yeah.
Call your coordinator.
Yeah. And so
Call your coordinator.
Yeah, I don't. You would have to play with those uniforms.
Okay.
But yeah, that would have to be reported. Okay, good answer.
Thanks.
All right. John Sheridan, is he on? Yeah, there he is.
Yes.
Sheridan. Okay. Okay, here we go. Team A is wearing white uniforms. Player A1 and A2 are wearing a white compression t-shirt underneath, and it has black stitching on the seams. It's visible. What's your answer? What do you do? Legal or not legal?
Not legal.
What's that?
Not legal.
Not legal, good answer. What would you do?
I would have them remove it at the next dead ball or something, or have them go out and have them change it.
Well, it's,
When was it noticed?
it's the start of the game.
Oh,
And,
start
or you're gonna beckon them into the game. So they're a sub and they're at the table. So what would you say to the coach?
I would say they can't come in until they remove their undershirt or put
Okay.
a replacement on.
Okay, so we never want to say that to the coach. They can't play until they take their stuff off. The correct wording you would want to use is coach. A1 and A2 cannot play until they are legal.
Oh, sure.
Okay, till they are not legal, until they are legal. So what you're saying is, I mean, coach, the undershirt is not legal, and they cannot play until they are legal. So then they know what they have to do. Okay. So you have the right answer, the correct answer. Now you need to start using the rule book language so
Right.
that you can communicate better with the coaches. All right,
I
good.
kind of like not participate until they are legally equipped.
Okay, that's another way of saying that.
And then when they say how are they not legally equipped? The black stitching on the white shirt is not legal.
Yeah, but you never want to tell a coach that they have to take their shirts off. You know, that's just, especially in today's world, you can't do that. So. All right, great. One more. Who else is,
We
Amanda
lost the
John-
other John, I think.
yeah, we did lose John Donahue. Okay, Amanda, take this, John Morgan, take this one. Okay, A1 is wearing tights that extend below the game jersey, oh my God, I'm sorry. Game shorts. Okay, and the right leg is shorter than the left leg. Legal or not? John, you there?
Sorry, I muted myself.
Yes, you
Sorry.
did. Okay,
So the uniform, you said the
A1 is,
tights
A1 is
were
wearing tights and
right,
they extend
both
below her
both legs,
shorts.
right,
The right
Both-
leg is longer than the left leg.
both legs should be the same length.
Correct.
So that would be ineligible because of the length of their short. They're like tights.
Right. Exactly.
So that's they can't play until they correct that. They're
Correct.
not eligible to play until that's correct.
Correct. Good. Good. And that's 123-2. So that's in our uniform rule there. So, yep, good answer. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to throw those out there to see. I mean, these are things that we come upon multiple times. I know that, you know, I've had players with that black stitching on their shirts, and I don't know, Rich, what are your thoughts? I mean, you know, we've let it go quite a few times. The other thing is that the tights and the length of the tights, inevitably we're going to have we are going to, you know, we have that all the time, and as officials we kind of really don't want to address it, you know. Rich, comment on that?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, we obviously don't want to be uniform police, but at the same time, it is part of the rule book and it's part of what we have to enforce. And, you know, knowing for the coordinators that I work for, when I've enforced it, I've been backed, and when I haven't enforced it, it's come back to bite me.
It has.
And yeah, it's because why didn't you do this? And you hear it, well, they said they've been wearing it all season. Now, that's not, it's two wrongs don't make a right. So, and I actually had that happen in a situation last year where John was sitting courtside observing at a game, and we had a player remove an illegal, where we told the coach that the player was illegally equipped and she would not be able to participate until she was legal. And the coach, I mean, this is before the ball's even tipped, made a big stink and said, she's been wearing this for 2.5 years. I said, I totally understand that, but tonight she's not going to be able to participate if she wants to wear that. And I said, that's by rule. And, John sitting there, she went over, spoke with him, and he said, they're the officials in charge. If by rule that she's not legal, she cannot participate. That's their ruling. And eventually she did. It was a starter. She took it off. But that's where previous crews get us, the current crew, in trouble when we're trying to do our job, because the previous crews, turned their head the other way, said, I'm not going to take care of this. I've heard many excuses. Oh, it's not going to show on the film. They won't see what it looks like on the film. It'll look fine. But when we're trying to do what we're supposed to do, it does bite us.
Right.
Then that does not look like we are a consistent pool of officials.
Right.
And again, I think it goes back. We don't want to be uniform police, but things have gotten better in terms of what we have to enforce uniform wise than what we don't have to enforce. But, we still have a job to do, and, we don't write the rules. We just need to enforce them.
Right. And sometimes it could be a sleeve. It could be a long sleeve that goes all the way up the thigh, all the way down to the ankle. If that's the case, then it's okay. But, it's a sticky situation, because you can't say, oh, well, show me. What are you gonna, it's a hard decision. It's a hard decision, but inevitably we have that in almost every single game. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one. So, all right. Any more questions or comments about uniforms? John, you have your hand up?
I do. So
Okay.
when I was doing the self-paced course, I seemed to run in a few uniform questions that I was getting wrong for some reason. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I had questions about them.
Okay, great. Well, that's what my next thing is we're gonna go over the quizzes. So, okay.
So the question, I guess, that I'm talking about specifically is with the referees due to substitutes, head coaches, and scoring. It was question 21. The
Okay.
question was, Team A enters the court wearing white uniforms and red undershirts that are visible. Now, officials inform the coach of Team A that the members will not be able to participate until the red undershirts are removed. Is the official correct? So I thought the official was correct on that, and then I chose correct, and then I was told that that was incorrect. So that's what the quiz said.
I ran into some issues like that too, John.
And then when I looked for the ruling, and I'm like, it's going to rule 4.11, 4.1.1, and 5.1, which have nothing to do with uniforms at all. So I became, a little discouraged by that.
A little frustrated. How
Mhm.
did you have any, how many questions did you have issues with? Because
Oh man, it was a lot. I did.
Amanda,
Me
Mhm.
too. I think I ended up getting a 44%, and I'm like,
what?
I'm reading off your slides and the rule book answers, and I'm like, I know I'm getting them right, so
Mhm.
I had the same issues, John.
Okay.
Yeah, I said I got like a 66 and a 68.
Yeah, that's,
And because
okay.
I'm stubborn, and I'm like, I'm giving the right answer, and I keep
Mhm.
giving the right answer and getting the wrong result. So, and I took
Okay.
screenshots of them. If you like me to share them, I throw them right up. You can see. It just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
no,
second one.
we had issues we just talked about that. We had issues last class, and we edited all of them, and it was the way that they were put into the program, and so that was all messed up. So that's what I needed. And I just said to these guys before we let you guys in is that let's see how they did on the quizzes and if they had issues with the quizzes. So this is really upsetting. Okay,
Let me remove my hand.
yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna have to check with our web guy on this now. Okay, so don't worry about that. What other questions did you have? How many did you have?
Personally,
Yeah.
let me look. So that's
Okay.
1, 2. So like question 20, like the same exam. During the pregame warm-up, the official noticed that a member of TA is wearing an earring. The official call informs the coach that the team member must remove jewelry before they can continue on warming up.
Mm-hmm.
My answer was yes. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Correction.
No, they can't.
I know that they must, is official correct? He's correct. You can't
Oh,
warm
I'm
up in
sorry.
your earrings, right? So I
Right.
said, yeah, the official's correct. You can't warm up in your earrings. But then again, the references 5, 7, which is 5, rule 5 is what? Timing and scoring. What is this? Has nothing to do with
Oh,
uniform.
man. Okay. All right.
So,
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
so that was another, and it kind of went on and on. So it was a little
Okay.
frustrating with that, you know?
Okay. Good to know. All right. All right.
I think
So
I'm even
I
have
mean,
another.
we
Let
can
me
go
see.
over, we can go over those if you want. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, we know that that's incorrect. We know that you're
Mhm.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
This 19 team
Go
is wearing memorial patches on the shoulders of their uniform.
Mm-hmm.
That's above the neckline. The patch has the player's number. The official rules the patch is illegal. Is the official correct? I don't think it could be above the neckline, so I'll say yes. He's correct, and I'm told no, I'm wrong.
Okay.
So, and again, they reference in Rule 5, which has nothing to do with uniform.
Right. Okay. All right. Good. So you mean after the answer, after you answered it, that's what came up. The rule reference came up.
Yeah, the
Okay.
rule reference time up
Yeah.
telling you that you're incorrect. in the
Okay.
rule reference.
I know what happened. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Go ahead. What's your next question? So you know you're correct in that one as well. So go ahead.
All right, so it seems to be the uniforms issue all the way around.
Yep.
The TA school colors are white and blue. They enter the court wearing their home white jerseys. They
Mhm.
were wearing a red wristband and red handband. The official
Mhm.
rule that the wristband and headbands are illegal. Is the official correct? Oh, I got that one. That was right. Actually, they said yes. I must have screenshot that out. That one we got right. Yes.
Okay. Good. Good.
17. This is all on the same exam.
Okay.
Referee duties, substitutes, head coach, and scoring. Let's see. 17. During pregame warmups, the official observes members of Team B wearing uniform jerseys that have a visible manufacturer logos at the apex of the neckline. The official charges the head coach with a direct technical foul. Is the
Sure.
correct? We said no.
Right. Correct. That is correct.
Wow for that.
And it says we were wrong.
Wow for that.
Okay.
And of course, we were saying, no, you're incorrect. The
Okay.
right answer is yes. So, and then
Did-
the reference was 6.1b.
Okay. I know. Go ahead. Yep. We're good.
More? Yeah, you want more? I think I do have more for you.
Oh,
14.
okay.
14. The referee designation. This one I kind of be in between with this. The referee designates the official scorer, the timer, the scorebook, and timepiece. This is what this is the part on, and inspects approves all equipment before each contest. Now, I said no. I don't remember us inspecting and designating a timepiece, so I said no. So apparently, we are responsible for that. I don't know.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
For the timepiece too.
Yeah.
Was
That's
the timepiece
well,
or just the official timer?
the
Like
official
a
timer.
timer, scorebook, and timepiece. That's what it says in the question.
Well, yeah, because if they have a cell phone instead of a digital stopwatch,
Mm-hmm.
not really supposed to have a cell phone. You're supposed to have a digital stopwatch. So yeah, that's part of the official's duties.
So I said yes, and I was
Mhm.
wrong.
Okay,
I said yes, the official does all those things, and it said, no, you're wrong again.
okay,
And that was,
Yep.
again, the reference was again, 362. Rule 362 just doesn't cut it. I
Right.
couldn't find
No.
anything.
agreed.
That-
Yep, okay,
So those are the type of things that
Okay.
were happening to me. I don't know if I have more. Oh, I have another one. Is this one? Oh no, this one we got right. Okay. This one
I have a
is,
couple too.
okay.
got some other than those.
Go ahead, Amanda. Go, tell me what yours are.
Feel free,
The
Amanda.
one, yeah, this one says Team A only had 5 players, 5 team members. In the
Mhm.
third quarter, A4 is disqualified for committing their 5th foul. The official rules Team A must forfeit as they only have 4 eligible players remaining. Is this correct? I put no because the
Yep,
one slide said that you can play with 4, just not up to
Absolutely.
the 1.
Yep.
And it
Mhm.
says I was
Start with 5.
incorrect. Yeah, it says I
Okay.
was incorrect. And then there was one about fingernails. It says someone was
Yeah, I got
playing with
that. I had that
extremely,
too. Yeah, I
yeah,
had that one
extremely
too.
long fingernails. And it says, are they allowed to play? And I say no because of the slide.
right,
You can't, yeah, and it said I was incorrect for that one.
okay,
too.
okay,
All
right.
Yeah, and then it says, this one I was confused about because in the book, so this says as the referee checks the scoreboard before the game, they notice the scoreboard and timer are not seated next to one another. The referee rules they must be seated. Is the referee correct? I put no because it says it's suggested, but not, you don't have to be, and that was
Correct.
incorrect also.
You are
Okay.
correct. Okay,
All
good.
right. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
driving me nuts too, John.
Okay, no, you're right, you're correct.
Mhm.
That's good. All right, I will take care of that as soon as we get off this call tonight.
Thank
All
you.
right. So, okay. Yeah, let me take care of that. And did that happen with quiz 2 as well?
Quiz 2.
Mine was
But-
2 and
That-
3.
Didn't even
What
let them go to quiz 2 if they didn't
That-
pass?
I think that was quiz 2. What? No, that was
2.
quiz 1, right? Was it?
I think mine was 2. The 1 was okay, and then it was 2 and 3 were a little wonky.
Yeah, 2 and 3. I think 1 I got
Mm.
through it without issue. 2 and 3
Yeah.
I started having issues with.
4 was a little, yeah, better.
Okay, interesting. All right, I'll take care of that when we get off the phone. All right, so, oh, that's disturbing. All right. So let's move on then. Let's go to, some clips. All right? You
Mhm.
ready, Rich? I made you a co-host. So
Yeah,
Rich is gonna
yeah.
share some plays pertaining to these, more 3 and 4, class 3 or 4, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna start with that.
Yeah, and it's more around, I wouldn't say it's directly related to the modules from 3 and 4, but it follows the theme of what Sherry told me they were, like players, coaches, substitutes, those types of things. So I've got a couple clips. Let me pull up the first one here. And I will say they're all around technicals, start of the game, and bench warnings. So give me 1 second here. Let me get the play up. And I will talk you through them. Let me get the clip direct and not through the classroom. All right. Share my screen. Okay. Sherry, it's showing?
Yep.
There's a black screen right now. Okay,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna mute this. So let me start it. So the play, we're in transition here, coming from the back court to the front court. And the action is gonna happen more towards the lead. So I'll walk through the whole piece here. I'll play it through and then play it again. This is, I think, 3 years ago, considering the new uniform, the old
No,
uniform.
yeah,
So I'm going to go back. Sorry. Watch the post matchup here. So I'll pause it right here. The action's going to be right here. But it's what happens and then what escalates afterwards. So I'll roll through. And I'll play it through one more time. Okay, everybody got a good look at that?
Yep.
So I'm gonna talk through a couple components of it. First, this is, like I said, this is 3 years ago. I'm not as young as I was then. But I'll say this is a Division I conference game, extremely young crew. I was the crew chief on this game with 2 officials. I believe it was their second year of Division I. It was a fun crew to work, but again, conference game, this is probably January, February time. And I'm going to run through and give some commentary here. This team in the dark color jerseys, this was their first year in a Division I conference. They had transitioned from a Division II. So they're still in a probationary period. They can't qualify for postseason play, but competing at a Division I level. This player in the dark color jersey, she ended up winning player of the year in the league, first year, Division I. Very talented player. So this was a highly competitive matchup here. So she's obviously trying to post up, and my partner has nothing else to watch except the 2 of them. And this was a competitive matchup for the entire night. And the offensive player just ended up swinging and hitting the girl in her head through her hair, and calls an offensive foul. And I think this is something where in a lot of games you're going to have your crew members just walk away, head to the other end of the floor. They got the foul, let's move on. But as a crew, knowing what was going on, we stayed completely engaged throughout this. So we have, going back, we have the foul. She ships it, and we have a player reaction here. And I think this is similar to what we were just talking about with uniforms. We cannot let this go unnoticed and brush it aside, because she will continue to do this. The fact that she's doing this in January, February gives me the sense that she probably was allowed to do this in November without any penalty. And without giving specific words, there were F-bombs thrown in there throughout. I mean, I heard it all. And, we assessed her a technical foul. The coach, I know the camera goes right here to the scoreboard. I'm going to just stop the recording so I can see everybody. But I went over the coach. She asked what was said. I tell her. She immediately pulled the player out, sat her at the end of the bench. I'm not sure if the player came back in. So I think it's just a good crew play. Just breaking down everything, not just, was the offensive foul correct? Was the technical foul correct? But just start to finish, I thought it was a good clip of crew dynamics, and not, when the ball becomes dead, we become alive. And I think that is just a really good example of the entire crew. And also my partner, I could have let her handle the offensive foul and the technical foul. But then she looks like she's a headhunter at that point. So I think it's very good as a crew that we're helping each other out and supporting it, so it doesn't make her look like, she's the one to take the brunt force of everything there. I think it's just a really good play to highlight, a crew dynamic there.
Yeah.
But I'll stop if anybody have any questions, or if you want me to pull the play back up again, or if you had any thoughts on it.
Now, was she, I know you gave her a technical, but it didn't rise to a vulgar disqualifying foul, or could it have been?
If she would have continued, I mean, I gave her a player substitute. She immediately went towards the bench, and her coaches calmed her down. In that situation, I'm always going to let the player have a couple seconds to cool down, especially, I mean, I didn't have volume on there, but her actions sold it on film that I send this to any coordinator. They probably, well, I would say not probably, they will support that technical foul.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of behavior we don't have to warn players. And if I do not assess a technical foul, I'm probably questioning why I'm not doing it there.
Absolutely.
Or
And-
not just me, but the crew in general. I think that is a crew play. Anybody can take her right there. I would say the lead should be the last one to take her since she's calling the offensive foul.
And when you talked to her, the crew, did the lead say I would have gotten her for that as well? Or, I mean, because she kind of walked towards you.
Yeah, she was coming towards me. She turned, said something, and then came towards me. And I think that was the action there. My lead said she probably would have come a little bit
Okay.
later, but we need to be good teammates to our crew. And me not whacking her there, saying I'll just call her out. I'll let Kara handle that. It's not doing my job as a good partner, or even in that sense, like I said, a crew chief with two, brand new people to Division I basketball.
Right. No, that's great. Absolutely. Any comments on that? Questions, John, Amanda?
I mean, it's definitely a great call. I mean, it's an easy call when you start cursing like that. So that's why the coach obviously, accepted the explanation, and it looked like it was a close game. It was like 40-42. So I feel like if you don't, like at the end of the game, if you don't handle that now, it's gonna just escalate to something further.
Yeah. No, and to be honest, I mean, I can probably count on one hand. I definitely can how many technicals I've given at the Division I level. And they usually, in that situation, they sell themselves in terms of that. And we have to handle that. No matter, to Amanda, your point, time or score. Like in my head, I could not walk over to and say, watch what you say. I mean, she just sold it with just her flailing of the arms and, all that. If you didn't have volume, you could definitely tell just based on the sequence of events why she was issued it.
And I do like how you you called the technical instead of your partner. Because then, she looks like the bad guy, the bad one, the bad ref.
Yeah. And I think that's just like, with anything, obviously you don't say this should happen, but I've been in situations too where the crew has had their equal contribution to a coach getting warned and whacked. You have, two people do a light warning, and then the third, is the one to assess it. It looks like we're working as a crew rather than somebody warns, then whacks. Sometimes that has to happen, but if I'm working with Carl and Sherry and I say, I warn them, I know both of them will say, well, the next time they step out of line, let me handle it. Because then it looks like we're not, that Rich isn't out to get, Coach A, that we're together as a crew.
Absolutely.
And I'll say this, the film is floating out there somewhere. This was about 8 years ago, a Division III conference final where the entire crew had a say in a coach's actually ejection. One official warned, one official gave the first technical, I gave the second and tossed, and it was supported by the coordinator who was there. It was the most uncomfortable probably situation I've ever been in officiating, being in a conference final and you have to eject a coach, especially if they don't want to leave the court after 10 minutes. We felt good about what we did. And, the coordinator came in after and said, you probably felt like crap, but you did what you had to do. So, you never know when you're getting in those types of situations.
Yeah.
That was a great game. Yeah, I learned a lot from that clip. So sorry you had to go through it, but thank you. I remember watching it live. It was a great game. You did a great job. You did a great job, Rich. You and that whole crew.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on to another clip here, and we will go to screen go. Of course, play clips. Here we go. Let's go to. I'm going to show one of Scott's. Get it off of me for a minute. I'll go to Scott's. One second, let me share. This guy. Oh, screen sharing failed. That's not good.
That's not good.
There we go. me just blow this up. All right, so it's a little, the clip's a little fuzzy, but we're gonna have a call by the trail in this play, which leads to a reaction from the bench over here. And I'll just watch the lead here. Scott's the lead on this play. So I'll play it through. And now I would just watch the coach roaming the bench here.
Mm.
And I'll go back now to where we have the travel call.
Can you go back to the travel one more time, Rich?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Go back further, Rich.
Even to maybe when she gets the ball instead of right when she has it.
No. So did they discuss, well, I know we're talking about the coaches, but did they discuss that play, Rich?
In terms of,
The travel, it's right in front of Scott.
yeah, so I don't know if that was discussed. I mean, if we want to talk positioning and mechanics here, again, this is at least a 3-year-old clip. I don't
Doesn't
think,
matter, it's still,
yeah,
watch. When
I
he
would-
calls the travel, it's right in front of Scott, like right here.
yeah. I mean, it's it's a good point. I don't think I've even talked to Scott about this in terms of did he talk about that? I think she does travel. I think her left foot, she replants her left foot after she picks up her dribble as she gets the block. These are, again, we're fourth quarter, 60-53, I believe.
How can you see that? Oh, yeah,
The scoreboard in the back.
yeah,
Yeah, I think Niagara's losing. Niagara's the home team here.
yeah.
So they could have been talked about where there was a lot of post play, and in that situation, Scott may have been, looking waist up, which a lot of us do when we're in the lead watching post matchups there. So from I'd say the mechanics of the positioning and who called it, it does look very tough and for anybody, no matter time or score, a C calling a travel from the other side of the floor there.
Yeah,
It is very tough. I will say that center is has advanced to, I believe, a regional final at Division I level, so he's a very good official. But at the
okay.
same time, that shouldn't be an excuse for why he calls it there. But I think he probably got it right, and it's one that I just don't know what the conversation was between Scott and John there. But I will say, I think what Scott did afterwards, and usually we want to put the ball in play quickly and move forward, but we see the player in red, she's fixing her knee pads there. So it gives the coach the opportunity to express her displeasure. She did do it a little bit across the floor, which stopped immediately, but then towards Scott.
Can you bring that back up? And I don't know if they saw all that on that.
Yeah. So
Did you guys see, like, Amanda, did you see? No, I
he
can't.
calls the travel here, and the head coach she's sitting, and this just wakes her up.
Yeah.
And
Also the bench players, I know there is a rule, right? Like if the bench players come up, they have to sit right back down. They can't be like standing, being all extracurricular.
yeah, they can react. And then I'd say they were within reason here. It looks like
Yeah.
one person gets or 2 people. This looks like
Yeah, and then they get right back down.
they sit down. But yeah, I mean, this player's messing with their knee pads, and I'm sure Scott just wanted to get the ball and move on. But I think here is another situation where, as Scott didn't have anything to do with the play in terms of, calling it. But that, oh, was I sharing there? Sorry.
No, you weren't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say something.
Very
but- There you go. There you go.
So the head coach is sitting right here.
Yep.
And then this wakes her up. She gets up. We have a couple people stand up. They sit down. She motions across the floor and then wants to walk down the sideline at Scott. I mean, one thing, I guess she almost came onto the floor a little bit, but I think Scott does a good job. He, and what we want to do, especially at this level, we want to give them a chance. They're allowed to be frustrated. Coaches are allowed to express their displeasure. Don't know what she said. It obviously didn't rise to the point where Scott felt, or the trail, who's right in front of the bench, needed to assess a technical foul. But I think they did a nice job of allowing her to vent a little bit. Okay, you may have not liked that call based on where it came from. I think Scott probably realized that as well. Give her a couple seconds, but then enough's enough at some point. And
Right.
issuing a bench warning and supporting us as a crew, and not just brushing it aside and running down the court. And for that coach eventually, when that official comes on that side of the floor, for her to say something. I think it goes back to working as a crew definitely benefits us all, and it goes to us being one unit. We are the third team on the floor.
Right.
And I think building on that, I think the C did a great job in following the play because they had the start of the play. And kind of to add to what Rich said, as the lead official, where are we looking? We're normally not looking at that pivot foot. And I do think Scott had a good position on the play based off of where the drive was. He might have been a little bit tight. So that could be another reason why he couldn't see that pivot foot. But the C had a great angle, followed the play from start, watched it develop, watched it finish, and was patient enough to make the right decision on that play and call the travel.
Yep. All right.
Okay, great.
All right. So the next one I have is one of my favorite ones, actually. If I can just get there we go.
It's not from that conference final, is it?
No. You deleted everything from that. All right, here we go. This is let's share. This is a Division II game, early season conference game. And the action's going to happen down in the paint. I will note, just in case the question comes up after, we did not have a monitor at this game. So based on what happens, we had to go with our six eyes on the floor.
Ugh.
Okay, I'll go back one more time here. Go back.
Is that Scott too?
No, it's me
Who was in
and
the,
it was first year on the women's side. He's from Philadelphia, and the female I'm with, she's from the Baltimore area.
okay.
Are they playing Wilmington?
Yes.
I played there. I played
you
at
did?
Wilmington.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did?
I played at Wilmington for 2 years in 2008 and 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because did you see, we need to discuss this. I think this is the first time I'm seeing this for some reason.
Really? I think we used it before. So I'll
I
stop.
know.
I can pull it up, but
Wait, why-
huh?
why'd you unshare? Did you see where, did he pull her hand or did she pull his hand?
So there's a lot to unload here.
Yeah,
Oh,
you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I'll do the last time, and I'll just ask, and Amanda, since you're very engaged, I would get your thoughts. What do you think we went with here, or what would you go with here?
I mean, it's a lot happening because it looks like outside she's got a jump ball, and then down low there's a foul, and then the extracurriculars, obviously. I'd like to see it again.
Looks like I'd go ahead, Amanda. Well, you gave one tech. I would, I don't know, probably do
Mm.
double techs.
Yeah. Oh, are you just pointing up, or are you not foul?
No, Rich is the trail
On the trail
outside,
here.
Okay.
and then I don't know who the guy is on the lead,
Yeah.
but she has a jump. She's running in. She
And then
must have
both
said
still-
something. Green said something, yes? That's
Mhm.
why you teed her up.
You know, she,
It looked like the University of Sciences girl like pushed her a little bit for
So,
pulled her.
yeah, so what we did was after this all happened, I sent the players to the benches. That's the first thing we did. And then we got together as a crew and I asked for my partner's information. What do you have? At that point, I had called a technical foul against the Wilmington player. That's the only technical foul that I had at that point. My lead, and I did see the arm grab. And I had asked my partner, do you feel that was intentional? Did she grab you at the point where you felt it rises to us, disqualifying her?
Mhm.
And he felt it was not because he came from behind. So he thought that maybe she thought it was a teammate or somebody else. So I valued that opinion. The vet that he was honest, because a lot of officials probably would say, yeah, she grabbed me, let's toss her. The female official I worked with came in and said, we should assess another technical foul. She said there was a sciences player that baited the Wilmington player when she was on the floor with a kicking motion, which
Yeah.
I'm going to go back, which I did not see coming in from the outside. But if you watch while she's on the floor, right there, she throws her leg up. Doesn't
Oh.
make contact,
Mhm.
but in a taunting way. So and sorry, I'll stop sharing that. So we did come out with a double technical here, which the sciences coach, who I know very, very well, was not happy, but I explained it to her by the book. She was still not happy. And then we moved on. So and then the other piece was, what was the last thing? What was the initial call on the floor that stopped play, which was a jump ball? So we assessed our technical fouls, and our point of interruption at that point was the jump ball. So we went by whoever was at the arrow there. But I think that is an interesting scenario where, where we don't have a monitor to go back and break this down like we just did here. We went off of our 6 eyes, all of our, what we saw, what can we go off of, and then move forward and adjudicate from there. Because we can always, even on film, I give a technical foul signal to the Wilmington player. That still doesn't stop us afterwards from assessing additional things based on what we saw, since we don't have a monitor there. So that is what we did. They each got, we did a double technical, and then we moved on from the point of interruption. And we did not, this was very early in the game too, and we did not have another issue for the rest of the game, which was kind of nice. But I think, these types of plays happen a lot where you have to go off of what you see. And in this situation as well, if we didn't get a good enough look, you can use your table and ask, hey, what did you see? Did you have any good looks on anything? Obviously it is the home team's table, but you can still leverage their eyes as information for how you're going to adjudicate your decision. You just take, you don't have to take it for, word for what you're going to use it for, but just getting that information is helpful.
That's awesome. So 2 intentionals?
No, we were dead.
Player
So it was
sub.
player substitute technical fouls.
They were player subs? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. Great.
Yeah.
All right,
They
we may
cancel
have
out?
time, huh?
And they
You have a
cancel
question?
out, right? And then you
Yes,
go-
they
Yeah.
cancel out and you go to the
Yeah,
point
they
of
canceled.
interruption.
Yep, and we
With
went
the
to the
jump
point of
ball.
interruption, which was, again, that's in that moment, the 3 of us aren't thinking about that. So, obviously the official, she signaled jump ball. She remembered that's, what we had. So we, turned and looked at the arrow and moved on from there. And that's a situation where And that's the first thing, when I'm a crew chief and I have a situation like that, the first thing I do, send the players to the benches. Coaches are never going to complain about getting a free timeout. Let them
Right.
calm down.
Right.
You don't want to have that conversation with players roaming around,
Right.
especially in a situation like that. And that is a scenario I brought the head coaches together to give them the same information at the same time,
Yeah.
so that there was no discrepancy on, what happened there. And the other thing I keep in mind with that, do the coaches get along? I knew the Wilmington coach, it was his first year. Sciences coach, I knew her very well. I knew she would be respectful, so I knew I can bring the two of them together and it wouldn't be contentious.
Good. All right.
And
We have
always have a
time.
partner with you in that conversation.
What was that?
Always have a partner with you in that conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
At least one
Yep.
partner.
Yep.
All right. We have time for one more.
Yeah. This
Okay.
one is no more tech. This is not a technical. We're a warning. So this is I think this is it's an eye-opening play about us being ready from the jump ball. This is from last season. This was actually a game where unfortunately we had no fans. They were just not allowed.
Yeah.
So I will run this through. I just want to move this bar out of the way.
Uh-oh, what happened? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I remember this one. I've seen this one.
Yeah. I'll go back. For some reason, why is this-
Actually, no, it's illegal. Okay, John, why is that illegal?
The jumper cannot catch the ball before it touches either the floor or one of the 8 other players.
Or
So
an official? Yep,
that's, yeah. or an
Awesome.
official.
yep. So who blew that? Who blew this flag?
That would
It was myself while I was running down the floor because it completely caught me off guard, and the tossing official.
The tossing official called it as well?
We both had whistles on it. Yeah, it
How
was
did he
You were
have a whistle?
table side, obviously, Rich.
Yeah.
table side.
Oh, this is a great play. Because
Is that-
usually
is
you
there
don't
a-
catch it.
Is there an area of responsibility? Is there one official that's responsible for that?
So that is
Tableside.
I think by our mechanics manual, that is mine. And well,
You too.
I think it would be the U2 because it actually happens on her
Her
side of
side.
the floor, but that's one where anybody should really get that.
It's a fruit ball, right?
Right, but usually the tossing official does not, because they are not supposed to have the whistle in their mouth.
Correct.
Right.
So it would be the U2 and then the U1.
And I would
Wow.
say the only reason why he had his whistle in his mouth is because he had a mask on and probably just-
Right,
Mm.
which usually would not happen.
right.
So yeah, this was called back. It both caught us off guard, and we took the time to get together. This was the first time either of us had this in a game.
Yeah.
You think you've seen it all, but you haven't.
Right.
So we quickly put together, and this, fortunately, you don't get this all the time. But a very experienced, especially at Division I level, you don't even get this as well. A very experienced table crew. And for those of you who don't know, this was a game in Massachusetts. There is an organization. They're called
Time, precision,
Yeah.
time,
Out.
precision.
Precision time.
Well, no,
Precision
that's
two
the
of
time.
them.
packs. That's the packs we used.
There's the other one.
Timing is everything, or
Time's-
something like that.
Time is everything. Time is everything.
An organization of guys who just work a bunch of different tables in the Northeast. And they're usually, retired officials or people have just been around the game. So they even helped us, at the table with setting the arrow, knowing what we needed to do with all that. So it was a nice validation there. But probably 90%, 95% of the time, you're not getting tables that know what the hell you just did and how to set the arrows. So There's definitely a learning play and something, again, like I said, I know we say it sounds like a cliche, but be ready from the tip. And
Yeah.
that was validation for me to be ready from the tip.
Yeah, so in our CCEA manual, it's 321, responsibles of the U2. So it's right there, number 2, that determine if any players enter the restricting circle prior to the ball being tapped and whether fouls and or violations which occur on their side of the floor. So determining which side of the floor that it does occur. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's a great clip. That usually doesn't happen. So Amanda, so the light jerseys, so that they're the ones that violated, right? Correct? So how are we
Yes.
setting the AP arrow?
So.
What's the procedure?
Mhm.
Tell me.
So it should be when you violate on the jump, you lose the arrow, correct?
Go ahead. No,
Keep
go ahead.
going.
Yeah, Carl, don't say anything.
So you tell
I'm
the
not saying that.
table.
I said the same thing you said. I said keep going.
So do they set it to, since
No,
a
you're
light
telling
jersey?
me, don't ask me.
Yeah, so you set it to the dark team jersey once the ball is in play, or you set it before it goes in, right? You set it- Because it's been
isn't
throwing
the
me off
dark-
all day.
The dark team is going to get the ball, correct?
Yeah. hmm
So
So
they have,
set it to the light basket, and then once it's in play, then it'll swap. Okay.
no.
Wait.
Mm.
Oh, go ahead.
So light team violated.
Yeah.
Okay, so dark team's gonna be out. We have a throw in,
Mhm.
okay? So as soon as we hand the ball to the dark team, the arrow goes to light.
Okay.
So
Because we never had a possession to start the game.
because the
Mhm.
dark team's gonna have the first possession.
I
The
got
ball's thrown in, so the next AP arrow will go
you.
to the
Goes
light
to-
team.
Okay, I got you.
Well,
Go ahead, Rich.
Just to clarify, what we did, we hand the ball to the dark team and the arrow is set towards the dark team. Once they legally inbound it, we then
Mhm.
flipped over
Okay.
towards. the
Yeah,
light.
so you have to set it first.
Okay,
Yeah, we set it towards the team that's getting the ball, because if there is a foul
foul.
before the inbound, we're not gonna
Okay.
change the arrow.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Mhm.
That's a great point. Yeah,
Those are tricky scenario. I mean, that's why we got together and we're like, are we sure about this? And we were, we made sure not to assume things there.
see, I would assume that I would have set it to the light team because I would assume that the ball would have been in play legally, so,
And that's a good point, well,
Yeah.
because I've always interpreted as we didn't set it until we made the ball at the disposal of the team that was getting the ball.
Correct.
At that point, we would set the
arrow.
AP arrow. So what Rich just said was a little different than what my interpretation was. He said they set it right there, because now they're saying this is the arrow is set to black because or dark team, because they got the ball as a result of a violation during the toss
Yes,
and the jump ball. And so now they have possession of the arrow, but you can't get the ball and the arrow. So as soon as they get the ball, the arrow changes. That's what
Yeah.
you said, Rich?
Yeah, so yeah, that's a great point, John. So we've had a jump ball to start the game, even though we've violated. It wasn't a dual violation where we're going to re-jump it. We have a team that violated and the other team's entitled to it. So the dark team got it. We set the arrow in their favor. As soon as it's legally touched inbounds, the person at the table flips it over to the light colored team.
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, that's a
Thank
great
God
play to
that's
end
not
with.
a question. I'd have got it wrong.
Well, the thing is, John, in the rule book, in the case book, it's set to the light team. But you guys made a great point on that disposal
It's
of the
set
ball.
based off of that interpretation that John
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
particularly if they would have had a foul on that throw-in.
Yeah,
Now, if you had a
Exactly,
violation on that throw-in,
exactly.
So technically Amanda was right.
So technically she was, and she didn't even know it.
right?
That's what I mean.
And
It
she
drives
didn't
me
know
insane
it.
because it's so confusing.
'Cause
She
usually
didn't know.
you usually don't get the ball and the arrow. That's
Mhm.
what I
yeah,
always say. Like,
no.
you can't
Yeah.
have both.
Right,
You get one or the other. So that was
Right.
that. In that case, you're saying they got the ball and the arrow.
right.
And then right after the throw in, the arrow
For
was
a
changed.
brief time, yeah.
And that's what I was
Unless there
gonna
was a
say
foul, of
that,
course.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find that play and I'm gonna bring it to us class next week. Okay, time is up. All right, couple announcement, guys. Great job tonight. I like the discussion. That's good. Do you guys have any issues with doing class on next Monday night at 8:30?
Monday.
Monday night at 8:30,
And remember, it will be recorded.
and it will be recorded. John,
I think
Amanda,
I think I could make that. If I don't, I'll check the recording out.
okay. John?
Yeah.
Can you do Monday night?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Great. Amanda?
On the 17th, right? At 8:30 still?
Yeah.
I should be good for that.
Okay, good. So I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the stream. Remember, guys, the stream, if you guys ever have questions or like you said you were having troubles with those quizzes, you should have put that in the stream to let one of us know. And then we could have maybe corrected that before we came to class tonight. So
Oh, really?
use the classroom stream. That would be great.
How do we access that again?
So you go to Classroom, you have a Gmail. So all you have to do is go to Classroom and it says Wcboo we're fall class 2022. It's in purple and you click on that and then you can go to the classroom. All right, couple of things. So next week so Sunday night is our Wcboo in-series season. We're starting our in-season series. Have you been on those before, Amanda?
Yes, I actually just signed up for that one. I saw it's at 8, so it makes sense. I've
Great,
been on the one before with like Albert and Joe Vasili, I think.
excellent. Okay, John, in-series season. So both Johns, in-series season Sunday night at 8 o'clock. If you have a clip that you want Al Batista to break down, you could send it to Carrie. She put a Google form in the classroom for you to do that if you want to do that. If not, no big deal. We'll have plenty of clips. So sign up for the in-season series class, our session. You should have gotten an email on that. You already did, Amanda, so that's a good thing. And Zoom next Monday night at 17th at 8:30. All right, I will take care of that quiz stuff. I'm going to stop recording.